It is the end of May 2019, and Joey and I are about to set off on 4 days in the Shining Rock Wilderness of Pisgah National Forest, North Carolina. Should be a great trip. The weather's looking nice for us over the next couple of days, and it's already much cooler up here than the 90s back home. We're obviously super excited to get going. We're full of energy at the beginning. Let's do it to it.
Do it to it. I don't want the spooky noodles hanging out with me.
There's a pretty cool rockside waterfall here along Art Loeb Trail. Massive big guy in there.
Oh, now he's not going anywhere.
We'll let him have his day. Making our way up Cold Mountain Trail. It's definitely pretty steep uphill, but we're surrounded by a lot of beautiful wildflowers, which is pretty cool. Home sweet home. Here we are at camp for the night. We are near the top of Cold Mountain, probably at around 5,500 feet or so in elevation, and it has been quite the climb to get up to this point.
Yes, it has. What a day.
We are getting camp set up. There's my hammock down there, and on the other side of the campsite we've got Joey set up. We've left camp to come check out the views on the top of Cold Mountain, and they are currently not disappointing. Here's the view from Cold Mountain. Steep climb up today, but definitely worth it. It is beautiful, breathtaking view. Let's take a look at the map for day one. We started at the Daniel Boone Scout Camp, right in this area, and we followed the yellow Art Loeb Trail up to Deep Gap, and from there we hopped on the Cold Mountain Trail where we set up camp, and that was it for day one. It was about 4.5 miles, but 3,000 feet of elevation gain, so we definitely felt it. We've reached the end of day one. It's been a great day for us. Weather absolutely beautiful. The temperatures right now are probably, what, low 70s?
Low 70s,
high
maybe
60s.
high 60s, yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. It's like probably 95 still back home. Had a great hike today. A lot of elevation gain. Maybe even a little more difficult than we had expected coming into it.
It was an ass kicker.
But we got through it, and we have an awesome campsite here at the top of Cold Mountain.
Home.
On the first day of our 4-day journey in the Shining Rock Wilderness. And we had an awesome view there at the top of Cold Mountain. We're going to cook up some dinner. Joey's got his tea going. We're going to call it a night because we're tired boys. Good night.
Good night.
Cold Mountain is the 40th tallest mountain in the eastern United States.
topping out at 6,030 feet. Cold Mountain was made famous by the historical fiction novel and movie of the same name.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We made it to day 2. It was a peaceful night last night. We're the only people here on the top of the mountain. So we got a nice, relaxing night with the wind blowing through. Not too bad though, and the temperature was very nice.
Still is.
Still is. It looks like we've got another beautiful day today. And we're pretty excited because a lot of today is going to be where we're covering the part of the Art Loeb Trail that we're going to be on for this trip. So we should have a lot of good views today, a lot of nice hiking. And again, the weather starting off another beautiful day. We're going to eat breakfast here and then get packed up and hit the trail.
Woo!
We packed up camp here in the Shining Rock Wilderness on day 2. And we are ready to hit the trail for the day. We're going to be on the Art Loeb for most of it, and we should have some pretty sweet views, pretty sweet hiking. It's time to hit the trail.
Woo! Oh, that's going to be a good shot. He's taking himself out.
We're having a quick snack here at this beautiful view off the Art Loeb Trail. Here's a look at Shining Rock, which is the namesake for this entire wilderness area. It's a pretty unique rock formation, as well as some sweet views. Here's a nice view from the top of Shining Rock. We can see where we're going to be heading later on today, as well as a lot of other mountains. We are heading down from the base of Shining Rock. Beautiful forest here. And there's the way up there. A 360-degree look at what we believe is Flower Gap on the Art Loeb Trail. We think that because it's a gap and there's flowers. We are cutting our way down through the Art Loeb Trail. It's a bit windy up here and there's a lot of growth across the trail. But it's super beautiful. We are coming southbound down the Art Loeb Trail, actually up it, to Black Balsam Knob, and it is absolutely beautiful on the way up. We are at the top of Tennant Mountain, a little over 6,000 feet high. 6,040. On our way to Black Balsam Knob and then Sam's Knob. It is very beautiful up here. It's also very windy. We made it to the top of Black Balsam Knob. We have been hit by a light sprinkle here over the past 20 minutes or so, but it hasn't been too bad. We're hoping the most severe part of the storm will hold off for us. Super windy up here as usual. We're about to begin our ascent of Sam's Knob. And we're looking out over this beautiful meadow that leads to the mountain. Here's a look at our view at the summit of Sam's Knob. A nice hike to get up here, but not too bad.
I don't know. I've never done it. It's my first time out here.
We are crossing Flat Laurel Creek. Home sweet home. We've made it to camp for the night. We
made camp too.
We got a nice little grotto here, not too far away from the creek, and we're gonna get set up and enjoy the evening.
Woo.
Loggers cut down the forest in the Shining Rock area from 1906 to 1926, and fires devastated the land in 1925 and 1942. These two factors account for the current state of Shining Rock's grassy balds and unique vegetation.
We are at Flat Laurel Creek,
Dinner time.
ready to cook up some dinner a couple hundred feet away from our campsite, and we are nearing the end of another spectacular day in the Shining Rock Wilderness, Pisgah National Forest area of North Carolina.
Yeah.
Day 2 filled with just spectacular views, incredible hiking. Tough to put it into words.
Incredible views, loads of them.
View after view after view. Just the trail every 10 feet was a different environment. Really awesome. Difficult day for sure. Difficult day, but
about 13 miles or close.
well worth it. Worth every step. We've got an awesome spot here to cook up dinner, and after that, it's gonna be bedtime. So we have 2 tired boys. That'll be the end of day 2. Good night.
Night.
On this day of our journey, we scaled 6 of North Carolina's 6,000 plus feet peaks: Cold Mountain, Shining Rock, Grassy Cove Top, Tennant Mountain, Black Balsam Knob, and Sam Knob. Good morning. We made it to day 3. Our second to last day on this trip in and around the Shining Rock Wilderness of Pisgah National Forest, North Carolina. We camped at a much lower elevation than last night in this nice little forest here, a couple hundred feet away from the creek, and another peaceful night, besides one instance in which we had, and you can see how close Joey's hammock and my hammock are here. You know, my feet are probably about 8 feet from Joey's head. we had an unconfirmed animal, believed to be a deer, but we didn't get a visual sighting, walk through right between us, walk through camp, and then walk around behind us and walk out in the middle of the night. Joey thought it was me, I thought it was him, it was neither of us. Nice little middle of the night fun. Yesterday was a super awesome day. Tiring day, very long, but you know, saw so many incredible sights. Today could be about the same distance as yesterday. Our plan is to try to push it pretty good and get to a point where we have a short day out tomorrow back to the car, so hopefully we can do that. I don't see why we wouldn't be able to.
Nothing but a thing.
Great temperatures again, you know, fairly chilly in the middle of the night, but comfortable in a sleeping bag and in the clothes and everything, so not a bad night at all. Looking forward to another great day.
Gorgeous weekend.
Let's take a look at our map for day 2 yesterday. So we started at our campsite up on Cold Mountain. We descended on the Cold Mountain Trail back down to Deep Gap, where we hooked up with the Art Loeb. Came down the Narrows, came up Stairs Mountain. We hit Shining Rock Gap, and we did a short side trail out to Shining Rock. Definitely worth it. Highly recommend going to see that. It's a pretty unique structure. We came back to the junction, followed down the Art Loeb Trail, came through Flower Gap into the Investor Gap Junction. We then hooked back up with the Art Loeb Trail. We hit that up to Tennant Mountain and Black Balsam Knob. Super awesome hiking through this area. You have great long range views. You can see the trail where you're going. So that was pretty cool. We followed down the Art Loeb Trail until we hit the spur. Took the spur up to the parking area on Investor's Gap Trail. We got some water just 100 yards up on Investor Gap Trail before looping up with Sam's Knob Trail, hitting up the top of Sam's Knob, and then we descended back down to Flat Laurel Creek, and we camped just a little bit down Flat Laurel Creek Trail off Sam's Knob Trail. So we think that was probably around 13 miles or so, and it felt like a lot more, but it was an awesome day. We've packed up camp here on the morning of day 3 of our backpacking trip. This is the second to last day. We're ready to hit the trail. We are hoping to push around another 13 miles or so to get a nice campsite to give us a short walk out tomorrow. We're ready to hit the trail.
Ready to do it.
Let's do it. Setting out this morning, flanked by a couple mountains on either side of the trail, and over there is Sam's Knob, which we scaled last night. We are coming along Flat Laurel Creek Trail, and we found this huge waterfall on this pretty awesome bridge. Stretches down below us as well. We've come to another beautiful waterfall along the trail. We're gonna eat a snack here. Nice sign of some bear scat here. Kyle is about as big as Joey's foot.
Big boy.
Looks pretty fresh.
Does look pretty fresh.
Got a pretty sweet view here along the trail. Dead ahead of us is Sam's Knob. We are here on the Art Loeb Trail. There's Joey looking good. Got a sweet view up here. A little bit of wind, not too bad. And yet another stunning day. We've made it back to Flower Gap on the Art Loeb Trail. We came through here yesterday. Home sweet home. We've made it to camp for the night. We found a nice open site here with good sunlight off the East Fork Trail. We got water a couple 100 feet down, and we're gonna set up here for the night. Let's take a look at the map for day 3. And I honestly hardly want to because it was a very long day. We started this morning at Flat Laurel Creek below Sam's Knob. We came around this bottom loop. We hooked up with the MST after a short road walk. We followed the MST up to where it joined with the Art Loeb Trail, and both of those trails run together through this section. From there we hopped back on the Art Loeb Trail, took the spur down to the parking area, and then followed a Vestor Gap Trail up to this junction with the Art Loeb. From there, we hopped back on the Art Loeb, followed it up to Shining Rock Gap. From there, we cut west, and we should have continued here down the Little East Fork Trail. We got a bit turned around because the trail was very overgrown, and we actually went down Vestor Gap Trail, back to Vestor Gap. We came back up Vestor Gap Trail until we joined back in with the Little East Fork Trail, and then we followed that down, and we're camped somewhere in this general area. It was probably a 16 to 17 mile day.
Woo!
Whoa. Long day. Even longer than yesterday. We started heading out from camp around 9:15 this morning, and it is a couple minutes after 7:15 now when we've arrived at camp for the night. We're gonna rest up here for a couple minutes and then get camp set up. We probably got close to an hour of light left. We have very nice sunlight in this campsite, so we've got time.
Nice little site.
Nice little site. So we're gonna rest up here for a minute and then get set up. Another awesome day today. We started out the day by doing some valley and creek hiking before we hopped back up onto the ridge lines to experience some more awesome views throughout the second part of the day.
And then back into almost creek hiking.
Yep. Now we're back down. We've dropped down on the Little East Fork Trail here to get to this campsite, and we're hoping to only be a couple miles out tomorrow morning. It's been a great trip. Really awesome trip. Another day of perfect weather. Can't ask for anything more than that. We're gonna go ahead and call this the end of day 3. Good night.
Day 3.
Shining Rock became one of the original components of the National Wilderness Preservation System in September 1964. Well, good morning.
we made it to day 4 of our trip here in the Shining Rock Wilderness area of Pisgah National Forest, North Carolina. Another peaceful night last night. And Joey was saying that was his best night of the trip.
Very peaceful. I was out cold all night.
Nice,
it was great.
Yeah, nice and good right temperature again last night. No precipitation, no wind down
Sunshine
here.
peeking through right now.
Yep. Another beautiful evening, beautiful morning for us. Just like the whole trip has been. I mean, in terms of weather,
we did something right back home.
Can't ask for anything better than what we experienced. An incredible trip overall. You know, yesterday was in the 16 to 17 mile range. Very tiring day, and
makes for nice pretty feet, I can tell you that.
We only have a couple miles out today. At least that's the idea. So we're gonna enjoy our last morning, hang out for a little bit, get things packed up, relax, and then head on down to the trails so we can get home and, you know, see our loved ones and take a shower, get some real food.
Yeah, man.
Some hamburgers.
Oh, yes. It's gonna be so good.
We're looking forward to the last great day of this incredible trip.
Awesome. Love it.
Let's take a quick look at our map for day 4. This should be our simplest trek of the route in terms of navigation. We are somewhere in here on the little East Fork Trail. We're just gonna follow this bad boy back down the mountain until we link up with the Daniel Boone Scout Camp, and that's where our car's at. So the expectation is just a few miles of downhill hiking today to take us to the end of this trip, and to take us probably close to 40 miles overall in the trip. We've talked at length about how incredible this trip has been for us. What's some of the highlights for you over the past 4 days?
2 of them that stand out for sure. Number 1, pat on the old back there, is my longest thus far day in my career.
Yesterday.
17 miles is hard earned, no joke. It definitely feels good to have that under my belt. So now the next milestone will have to be longer than that.
18.
And that plus, you know, the limited amount of bald hiking I've done, and being able to see the different paths down in the valleys and the mountains that you're going to be climbing and all the stuff, and kind of having this bird's eye view of the terrain you're going to be navigating. It's just so awesome to be able to do that. If you've never done bald hiking, highly recommend it after this trip.
Yeah.
That and just the sheer amount of amazing, we've talked about it a million times, weather that we've had. I mean, absolutely perfect temperatures, perfect sunshine. It just doesn't get better. Almost all the time when you hike, you run into rain, cold, blistering temperatures, something that's going to be uncomfortable for a little while. Yep. Not on this one. And I mean, wow, what a gift.
Yeah. Alrighty, we've got camp packed up here at day 4. Our packs are light as a feather. We are feeling good about that. And we're ready to knock out these last couple miles to get on the road to head home and finish up this absolutely awesome trip.
Leaving one home to go to another.
That's right. Let's hit the trail. Working our way down Little East Fork Trail this morning. We've come across a nice stream down here. Very beautiful area. And we're gonna hopefully across those rocks.
Alrighty, yeah.
We made it to the end of our 4-day adventure here in the Shining Rock Wilderness. Our car is right on the other side of this creek. What a trip.
What a trip.
What a trip. The weather, absolutely perfect the entire time. Beautiful area, great views, awesome forests, creek hiking, valleys, mountaintops.
Gnats.
No bugs have really only been down here, fortunately.
Only the last 10 or 15 minutes.
No bugs the rest of the trip, which is awesome. You know, a lot of adventure throughout the trip, bushwhacking, finding our way through the wilderness areas, which are generally unsigned and unblazed. It was a lot of fun. Really good time.
Yeah,
Great
man.
time.
Love it.
We'll have to come back out to this area again one day. All right.
Now,
That's it.
rock and roll.